Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Starcraft 2 replay cast. Today it's a 1 vs 1 on Frozen Temple between our red Protons player, State. Even though it has a bunch of bars on the bottom, they are anonymous, and down on the bottom, or at least not anonymous anymore, are the blue Zerg player, Scarlett. And we're going to speed this up to the 8x mark till the 2-minute point of the game, and everything starts to get good. All the units come out, all the fun stuff starts to happen, all that stuff. And we do have a probe coming on in, checking out the lay of the land. Not going to see too much. Going to see one extractor, one spawning pool, nothing too crazy. Looking for any kind of cheesery, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And up at the Proton space from State, equally fast Nexus. And the gateway pumping out the Adepts. Warp Gate on the way, Twilight Council on the way as well. Overlord's moving on out. Overlord checking out everything going on. Gonna see this Adept moving towards the base. And a couple of Zerglings gonna get out of the way before the Adept sees them. And they might be able to sneak around. And success. Sneaks around either that or he just completely ignored them. One of the two. And the Zerglings are on a stealth mission for sure. And moving on in. We need some, like, Tom Cruise music or something here. Some Mission Impossible music. And Stalker's going to take care of these. But they're going to try and get a probe, and I don't think it's going to happen. Meanwhile, the Zergling's just going to give the Stalker a hard time. Run around all crazy like. Back at the base here, Adept gets, I think, 2 kills on that Adept. Spore Crawler's coming up really early. And cancels that. And another hatchery on the way for Scarlett. And State gonna block the way with a couple gateways here, and the Stalker afraid of more of those Zerglings. Zerglings are on the way. Not gonna do too much. Might be able to peck away at the Stalker a little bit there, but more likely just gonna bail. And try to get through that little edge there. Not gonna happen. A fair try though. And the Overlord up top there, ready to sneak in. After a couple minutes here to see what kind of tech is going on. Robo coming on up here, Pylon. We'll see the area, the lay of the land there. And warp on outside of the base if possible. Mothership Core gonna cruise back and forth and do the classic Mothership Core dance. And he decided he was done dancing. And so far so good with the Zerg just macroing up. Getting everything in place. Nexus on the way for the Protoss. And Adept's going to be blocking the probe for a little bit there. And defending the area. And the Overlord going to back up a little bit there. Going to get into safety. And we'll see the vision here. Check out what these Overlords can see. Not much. But just enough. Gonna see the Robo Bay making the Warp Prism here. Or I suppose the robotics facility, but either way. And a ton of Adepts on the way. The Overlord spots that. And an Observer right in the front. Gonna see all the tumors. It's not a Duma. But they are tumors. They are tumors. And too many roaches for the Adepts. Adepts gonna try and sneak by, but not sure if that's gonna be the best idea. They might be able to do it. Nope, didn't get past the roach ore in there. But a couple did spawn down there. Really only got a couple Zergling kills. Nothing too crazy. Don't think they got any drones on that, but if they did, it's fairly insignificant. Some Ravagers being evolved on in. And Adepts decide against that. Warp Prism coming on in. Gonna try and drop somewhere real wacky-like, but not sure if this is gonna really work. It looks like he's just gonna have to bail out of there. Not quite happening. Too much Zerg presence in the area. And not enough stealth action. And now moving on in again here, but the Warp Prism's just going to have to back out. And just not going to happen for the Protoss right now. So we'll see what he has to do to remedy this situation. Warp Prism down to 10 health with a Queen on one side and the majority of the Zerg on the other. Well, not anymore, but either way, they can be there in a heartbeat. But here comes the Warp Prism now. Warp Prism is going to move on in, and I'm sure Scarlett is aware of that. She is coming back now, going to be coming around the side. And yeah, Depths here racking up some kills with some drones. Most of the drones were not in the area at the time, so not a big loss. And not doing enough economic damage to the Zerg to really matter at the moment. The amount of larvae she has able to just remake a bunch of drones or just Maynard them back on over, so not a big deal. And the Protoss so far, Robotics Bay up, Twilight Council, and I'm going to be making some disruptors, and that's probably the key right now as the Zerg is very bunched up with lots of little units, roaches and Zerglings, of which disruptors love to Nova. And making even more Ravagers now. And gonna be getting rid of the rocks for wide open attacks from the Zerg. Zerg love wide open areas, excel in the wide open areas, able to get around your units a little bit better. And now another expansion coming up for Scarlett, and the drones ready to move on over. A macro hatch is coming up as well, and looks like another hatchery at the same time. And the majority of the Protoss army here moving down towards the bottom. The Zerglings see what's going on here, and we'll be able to mount an offense for this. No observer in the area by the looks of it, so no creep tumor killage going to be happening for the Protoss, which would be really nice to have and get rid of those tumors. And Adepts ghosting on forward here.
I have met the enemy.
A creep tumor are under attack.
And oh, a nice Nova there. Takes out a few Ravagers. For the majority of the Protoss army here surrounded. Banelings moving all over him. Adepts taking all of that heat. And the Protoss army insta-gibbed there. And a bad decision there for State. Didn't really quite do too well on that one. Disruptor moving in. Is it going to Nova? Nope. We'll take it. And Bile coming on down. Jukes that fairly easily. Keeping the Protoss on his toes with all of that Bile. Overseers. Oop, almost got destroyed there, but gave up the fight a little bit too early. Could have stayed there for an extra split second, taking out those Overseers. Protoss not really producing too hard here. And we see we have ground weapons level 2, flyer attacks level 1, melee 2 for the Zerg. And some mutas going to be on the way soon, but not much in production for the Protoss. Just making a ton of adepts, which didn't really work out too well last time, so not sure if that's going to work out too well this time, especially with all the Banelings that could be easily morphed on in, which is the case now. And another Nexus here coming on up, but it is very close to the Zerg. And now a drop in the base here. Not a drop, but rather an air attack with mutas. They came all around the side there and hit a little bit. Didn't see how much they killed exactly. Checking out the kills now, and only seeing a few throughout those mutalisks. And gonna go after the Photon, and decided against it. But just took some damage doing that. Now the Protoss army ravaged by a ton of Banelings once again. And as I mentioned before, it wasn't really going to work out too well. Final overcharge defending that area for now. And the Mutalisks going to cause some trouble here. But the Protoss army really took a hit on that one. I just barely missed that battle as I was focused on the beauty of the flying Mutalisk blob. Well, that does happen from time to time. Now has an observer with the army. Going to be taking out all of these tumors. I'm going to go kindergarten cop on all of them. And Mutalisk just proving to be a huge hassle for the Protoss right now. And just now brought back some Stalkers, but too little, too late. Took out quite a bit of probes up here. Not that there's all that much going on, but that is a lot of probes that could have been brought over to a new expansion. Huge ball of Zerglings, and a good chunk of them get taken out there, but could have been far worse. And State has to GG, and I can see why this was just about to cover that whole area there. All these Ravagers on the bottom, bunch of Banelings were about to explode their way through, so this army was totally screwed, although I would have liked to have seen that take place. And the Mutalisks were just causing a little bit too much trouble. Just wasn't enough back here to stop all of these Mutas, although plenty of Photons up here to stop them, just not much in the back there. And the base would have just getting slowly taken out, especially these pylons, as there wasn't a lot of double pylon action here. Double coverage would have shut down all these warp gates here fairly easily. But I hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and I will see you guys next time.